In this video, I want to talk about personal branding versus business regular branding. Just discovered recently that someone asked me a question that I didn't really pay attention at the moment the question was asked. He asked me, it depends what you are selling. Are you selling your product or you're selling yourself? And at first I did not really understand why he was asking that question, but it's really important. First, I discovered that what I'm doing is to sell myself, not my product, because I don't even wear those products right now. So the difference between my personal brand and my business brand, I used to present myself for my business. I was into illustration, bicycle, e-commerce. That was the three main thing of my business. But for my personal brand, kind of, when I was looking for a job or freelance work, I was establishing myself as someone who likes creativity, technology, and entrepreneurship. So no bikes in my kind of personal brand. Although the bikes is super important for me personally, the reason that I decided to build my business around bikes, illustration, and e-commerce is that because it's the most important aspect actually of my life. So why not put those into my personal brand? And my personal brand was, as I said, technology, creativity, and entrepreneurship, which is true. But it's a little bit broad as a subject. Cell phone seller or computer repair specialist might also fall into the category of technology. So when I was presenting myself, the subjects were too broad. Same thing for illustration. Instead of talking about illustration, I was talking about creativity. A ballet dancer or a pianist might also be into creativity. So when I was searching for a job or project or freelance project, I was too broad of a category, so not enough specific. And it's not all the domain of creativity and entrepreneurship or technology that I'm interested in. It's very specifically illustration for the creative part and e-commerce for the technology part. And yes, entrepreneurship, because I like to be an entrepreneur, but it's again very broad and specific. And the main thing is that it doesn't have any things to do with bike. So what if I was applying for a job in the bike industry on social media, for example, which is part of e-commerce, but also part of bikes. But if I don't have bikes into my personal brand, doesn't really make sense. And even e-commerce, I like e-commerce, but it must be more specific than that. I would not do e-commerce for product that I don't care or don't believe. So beauty cream or weight loss product or cigarettes, or I would not do e-commerce just for the sake of e-commerce. So my actual brand is the combination of the bicycle, illustration, and e-commerce, and also entrepreneurship. That's everything that I am. That is everything that I believe in, and I want to talk about those subjects. If I come back to what I had before, creativity, yes, but it's too broad, too general. And same thing for technology. I'm not a computer technician. I'm into e-commerce. That's what I do. That's what I like. So when it's time to think about your own personal brand or business brand, what it's important to understand is that you may have both, and you may also have just one, but very specific one based on your own interest. And I discovered that just recently, honestly. I used to think that I was selling bike t-shirts, which, yeah, this is a thing that I do. But I also like to talk about entrepreneurship and e-commerce and social media, like I'm doing right now, personal branding. So when you define your own personal branding, you're talking about yourself. So what I discovered is that I'm actually selling myself. I'm selling all my skills. I am the combination of all that. I'm not limited to one specific aspect. I am e-commerce. I am illustration. I am entrepreneurship. I am also bikes and many other things and many other subjects. So that's it for today. For personal branding, just ask the right question, what I am selling. If I'm doing all of these videos and all of this promotion, do I try to sell myself or I try to sell my products? And based on that answer, you will have a clear definition of who you are talking to, what are the subjects that are important to you, and how you will build your own channel based on your personal interest, personal brand, or your product. Very different approach. None is better than the other, but it's important to know beforehand. So you don't limit yourself to just one specific aspect or just not too broad or not too specific, but speak about you, speak about what you are, what you like, and people will hopefully follow what you are saying. So